Greetings, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Welcome back to my Astroneer series. Today we're going to start small and we're going to end kind of big. So, with that thought in mind, pull yourself up a comfortable Astroneer watching location and we'll get things started. Alright, just handing in that bootstrapping quest for mission from the previous episode that involved our trip to the mat on Visenya. Now, we're just having a bit of a refresher through our mission list here. There's things like refining nanocarbon alloy. I've reviewed that a couple of times and we'll probably look at the recipe again now. But it's going to require a gas that we don't have access to at the moment. Essentially, we've got to make titanium alloy and then refine that down into nanocarbon alloy. And helium, we have not come across that one just yet. We're going to have a little look in the Astropedia here in a moment. But before that, we're just having a quick look at, Visenya does not have helium here. The only thing we do have is we've got some nitrogen and we've got some argon, and that's about it. So we're going to have a little look in the Astropedia here in a moment, and we're going to have a look at all the places that we can get helium. Minor spoiler, it's a very short list. So for the moment, we're going to put the whole nanocarbon alloy thing on the back burner. And we are going to need titanium alloy to make the large shuttle. And that requires some gases and things as well. And we're not really going to get to the bottom of that in this episode. So it needs nitrogen, and we can't get nitrogen here. So this is where we're going to have a quick journey through our Astropedia. So nitrogen we can get back on silver, and we can get it quite easily there. We can we can get nitrogen here on Visenya. I'd forgotten that we could do that. So yeah, we may be in a position to make the large shuttle, but we didn't actually get it done in this episode, so we might save that one for next time. In terms of the helium that we need to make nanocarbon alloy, there's only one place in the solar system where we can get helium, unfortunately, and that is Atrox. Now, Atrox is going to be the next planet we go to. Actually, hang on. No, it's not. We've got some stuff we need to deal with on Glacio first. So we'll go and activate Glacio. It's probably going to be a fairly quick old trip, that one. I'll make sure I bring the rover and a few odds and ends with us, and then we should be able to knock out Glacio quite quickly, and then that will leave us with the massive effort of taming Atrox. Yeah, Atrox is... look, I'm probably painting a grimmer picture than what it deserves, but Atrox has its challenges, and we'll deal with them. I mean, I'm familiar with Atrox already. And all of my previous runs to Atrox have been, I will say, eventful and a little bit kind of tedious because I wasn't prepared. I'm going to be prepared this time, so hopefully it's not going to involve any more significant bumps in the road than what any of the other planets have involved. But yeah, stay tuned on that one. Now, we're getting on to the big aspect of this particular episode. We spent a few minutes at the start of the episode just getting a few odds and ends together on the rover, and here we are. Now, I did away with the tall storage simply because we didn't really need to be gathering very much, and I wanted the improved visibility. When I've got the tall storage on the back, it's just horrible trying to, lean the camera around it. Whereas with everything sort of packed flat like it is now, much, much, much easier to see where I'm going. And where I'm going is to the middle of Yes, the planet. Yes, you can tell. It's been a tough working week, and it's a Friday evening, and yeah, I've started forgetting words already. Woohoo! All right. Anyway, we're diving down into the planet. We are creating quite the mess along the way, and we are not really giving 9 rat's tails to what's happening with this pile of lithium in front of us. It's just going to find its own home somewhere, and we are going to keep diving down into the planet at whatever angle we see fit. Needless to say, we're going to be approaching the core in the not too distant future, and contrary to what I'd said with our deep dive for Calidor and Novus, I didn't actually think to make a better drill. Now, don't worry, this drill is actually enough to get you, so this is the Mark 1 vehicle drill, this is actually enough to get you to the outer core on Visenya. So don't fret if you haven't worked out the materials you need, and I think you need tungsten carbide, and ironically I did actually save one piece of tungsten specifically so that we could make the next drill up from this one, but then, yep, like everything else, I completely forgot about it. So anyway, it was there if we needed it. Turns out we didn't need it. I am very confident we're going to need it for the next 2 planets though, so I'm definitely not going to gap on that one. Yeah, famous last words, but anyway. Yeah, so we're almost done with our deep dive. We've gone through what would amount to being the mushroom layer on some of the other planets. This one, there is some, alive things there, but for the most part they're not really mushrooms, they're just regular plants. And this is the bit of the planet where we are starting to struggle to drill through, but no, we make it, not a problem at all. So we're coming down here, we're almost to the very inner layer of the inner core. Now we're not going to take the vehicle right down into the core. Look, you can do that if you want to, but I'd be recommending you take an additional soil canister for it, because it is quite a journey to get from this last layer of rock down into where the core itself is. So yeah. Anyway, the system I've got worked out and I've been using for every other planet, it works. It'll work for every planet without any issues at all. Hell, for the most part, it worked pretty well for the Glitchwalker series as well, although the core of that planet is quite a different animal to the ones in the normal, vanilla storyline planets. Now, we've got a bit of a challenge here because we're trying to get rid of this little spitter, because he is close enough to where we're planning on sort of deep diving into the main part of the core that I don't want to run the risk of getting a bit distracted and accidentally bumping into him. So I'm busily trying to dig him out, but the problem is he's spitting at us, and I made the mistake of being a little bit too close to that pop coral when it went off, so we did take a bit of damage there. Luckily, it wasn't fatal. So yeah, anyway, we just about got rid of him. It's a bit of an effort because he's in harder terrain, and even with our personal drill upgrade, it's a bit of a struggle to get rid of that ground quickly enough to dig him up. But we're nearly there, and boom, there he goes. Alright, so we've got some peace and quiet there now. We can set about the task of getting down into the core. But not without having a bit of a look around first. Alright, I'm not sure why little bomb boy here didn't throw bombs at me, but honestly I'm not complaining. I had my hands full with the gas hurling one, so having bombs thrown at me at the same time would have made my life a bit too complicated, I feel. That said though, we have been able to deal with those quite successfully, but for those paying attention at home, we're not done yet. There's at least one more of the, gas hurling ones there in the background, which we're going to have to deal with before we can make a move further towards the core. So yeah, let me get right on that. Now, for those still paying attention at home, you can still hear one hurling gas at us, and I don't know if you saw it out of the corner of the camera, but it's actually underneath where we are, so it's mounted on the inside of the of this sort of core layer. So we're not going to be able to do much with that one without digging a gigantic hole. And well, look, I think this one falls into the category of it. If it isn't broken, don't try and fix it. So we're going to leave that one in blissful ignorance, and we're going to proceed with our standard fare plan here. We've made a ramp. We're about to run off towards the core, and we've thought, oh yeah, we're going to need to extend the tether from our rover, which of course has the oxygenator on it to allow us to do that. But more importantly, we need this graphene. Now, for those that caught the hints in the previous episode, you would have realised that it's graphene that we need to activate the core of this planet. If you didn't take the hints and work out what that was for, look, that's fine. But you're now aware of what the graphene is for. So yeah, the graphene is kind of expensive to make, mostly because I didn't come across any ammonia in my travels. Now, I don't know if it's just super rare on Visenya or whether I was just really unlucky, but I didn't actually come across a single skerrick of ammonia in my travels. So I ended up having to spin down soil to get the couple of bits of ammonia that I needed, and a full dose of soil only gets you one ammonia. So yeah, that one took me a hot minute, but I didn't bother including it in the footage because collecting soil and spinning it down just to make 2 ammonia is not very stimulating watching. So yeah, you're welcome. Anyway, we're persisting with our tether line. Now, this video or this recording session was kind of the last of a massive amount of them that I did during February and early March. So I'm editing this now, and it's the 4th of April, and from my release schedule it's going to go up and be live from the 22nd of May. So yeah, that's a bit of a delay, but anyway, I'm explaining that because the little flowers on top of my tether line were, I think, what was left over from like the Valentine's or some plant-based festival type thing in February/March. So yeah, that's why you're still seeing those, is because that's when I recorded this originally. I actually don't think I've been back into Astroneer since I recorded this episode, so I'm going to be 17 kinds of rusty by the time I actually get around to playing some more Astroneer, and I'm going to say I've been missing it. I'm very much looking forward to getting some more Astroneer time under my belt. So we are here back at the core. We have made our little ramps now. Unlike for, what was the one we did previously? Might have been Calidor. Whichever one I did last, we ended up coming down from either the very north or the very south, anchor point type thing. And consequently, there was no gap. It was just a natural ramp that ramped you onto the sphere. Now, I bring that up because when we come down this time, we've come in one of the side ones, I'm going to call it, and we had to build our own little ramp to get off the spire and onto the bally bit of the core. So, yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. Now, we're in the core. We've used our 2 graphene to get our 2 them triptych things. That's a very complicated word. And we're now kind of locked in, so to speak. Once we're finished, fumbling our tethers and watching them fly off into space, we're going to drop our one of our geometric triptychs on here. That will unlock us from the core, and it will also unlock the core for the planet. And that will tick another planet off our list of planets to activate. In 3, 2, 1. Woohoo! It's done. And boom, we've activated 3 out of the 7 cores. So we've still got a few cores to go here. We haven't been to the core of Silver yet. We haven't done... what haven't we done? Well, we obviously haven't done the planets we haven't been to, so Glacio and Watsy, so that's only 3. I must have forgotten a planet somewhere along the line. Or maybe I haven't done Calidor yet. Oh god, I'm going to have to go back through and check which ones I've done and which ones I haven't done. I was thinking that would have taken me up to 4 cores, but that's only 3. So there's one I've skipped somewhere along the line. It's alright, I'll work all that out, and if it's one of the places that we've been to, I'm sure we'll get caught up with it at some stage. In the meantime, we're done with the core of Visenya. We're going to head back to the surface, and we're going to see what other little jobbies we can do in our very short episode today. Alright, here we are back on the surface. Time to do a bit of an unload. We did pick up a couple of science samples along the way, so we'll chuck those in the research chambers to keep that old science ticking over. I still haven't had a chance to check whether we are fully maxed out on science yet, so I'm just erring on the side of caution, and I'm just going to keep it going at this stage until I have a chance to log in and confirm. For the moment, we're actually getting ready to depart Visenya. We've activated it, we've done all the side missions for the location. So now with our medium shuttle, I'll investigate that deeper in the next episode. I thought there was a definitive reason why we didn't make the large one, but to be honest, it could have just slipped my mind. But at this stage, we've got our medium shuttle, and that's what we're going to try and load up on. We're going to have another look here and just try and work out what's going on in terms of our gases and whatnot. And once again, we're going to confirm here that Atrox is the only source of helium. And helium is what we need for nanocarbon alloy, but we don't need nanocarbon alloy for the large shuttle. We only need titanium alloy, and I thought we had enough here to do it. But look, next time I log in, I'll check that out as well. There we go. Titanium alloy is what we need. And we're going to have a look at the chemistry lab here, and we're going to remind ourselves. So titanium alloy, we need titanium, we need graphene, and we need nitrogen. Well, we know we can get nitrogen here. Graphene is a pain in the... but I know I can spin down some more soil to get ammonia, so we can definitely do that. You know what? I think I'll make it my first job next session to try and get a large shuttle going. Now, speaking of sessions, we've actually reached the end of this episode. If you've enjoyed it, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and to consider subscribing if you're not already subscribed. Until next time, my name is Rudimentary Rob. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure you have yourself an unbelievably, an amazing, and completely fantastic day.